Hello everyone, welcome back to the Republic of Players. I was on mute even though I looked, and yeah, we're back anyway. We're back with Paddy Tink is joining myself, Ronan, for this week. Another jam-packed week we have. We have news on the Lord of the Rings developers that created the Gollum game are basically going to flood the marketplace with more crappy Lord of the Rings games. Yay. An update on the Microsoft acquisition of Activision and Blizzard. A new Xbox console has been revealed. Sony starts testing cloud streaming PS5 games, and Call of Duty nix Mercs controversy. So let's jump straight into news and let's get it started. Actually, just before we kick off, I do want to say rest in peace to Christy Dignam, who sadly passed away, an absolute legend in the music scene. I know, Tink, you were a massive fan, possibly definitely met him once or twice. I know, it was definitely part of my first musical experience as a young person growing up and going to his gigs. My father used to do the sound for him, and Aslan the band were just definitely the start of my love for music. So a great loss in the music industry, but fought a long hard battle, and yeah, sadly passed away this week. So rest in peace, and condolences to the family, and hopefully they have a nice peaceful time over the next couple of weeks. Also, Men's Mental Health Month. We're going to be talking about that in our topic of the week. Always a nice topic to talk about and to let people out there know that there is a place for you to come and chat, especially within the Republic of Players community. Paddy's going to talk a little bit about a community that he set up that allows people to come and share their thoughts and feelings. So straight into news, guys. Publisher that pooped out Gollum wants to make more Lord of the Ring games because they have acquired the license. Their goal is to basically make as many Lord of the Rings games as possible and exploit the franchise for all it's worth. Thoughts on this?
You can't be serious.
Yeah, it's a crazy.
You can't be serious.
Have you played it?
Any of tried the Gollum game? No,
I watched it and it seems very annoying.
What kind of game is it? What do you do?
It's basically you're basically Gollum in between the movies. He's constantly getting locked up in jails at this point, and then he tries to sneak out and do stealth mode kind of missions, or does puzzles and jumps on things and climbs, and it's like it seems very boring to me. I couldn't get into it at all. And if anything, I don't even think the same voice actors in it. Obviously, they wouldn't get Andy Serkis into this.
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
I'm just gonna go check up the sales and see that they do well.
And I hate to chalk it up to people who haven't seen it, and I don't want to. This is my 2 cents at the end of the day, but it feels very PlayStation 2-esque graphic.
It does.
They were good graphics at the time.
Yeah, they were for the time.
The time, but like now we are gone so many years, 30 at least. I don't want to say that because of course I was not around when the PlayStation 2 was around now.
It was ranked so far. Gollum is the worst AAA game of 2023.
It is like it's
and there has been some garbage this year, so
yeah, it's garbage water.
Shiny garbage. Said
that word in a while.
Garbage water.
I don't even like the way he looks in the game. I don't think he represents what Gollum actually looks like, and that's bad. Like he should look identical.
He's got straight up hair, doesn't he? Like Gollum doesn't have any hair, maybe a little strand here and there, but
little strings or whatever. Yeah, like even at that, when I was looking at some of the up close animation of his eyes open and closing, it just reminded me of some of the animation out of Conker's Bad Fur Day graphics wise, and I was like, this doesn't feel nice. Look nice.
What's the company that made it? Is it
so Embracer Group Holding recently announced its plans to exploit its recently purchased Lord of the Rings franchise rights with loads of new games. The publisher bought the rights to Tolkien's prestigious Lord of the Rings franchise last year for 700 million and has since received royalties on all new Lord of the Rings projects, even the embarrassingly terrible Gollum game that released last month. So that's, they probably leased the game out to be developed.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
If it is a case that they get a developer in that, like what I've always loved to see, wanted to see was a Skyrim-esque Lord of the Rings game, because like I'm going to throw it out there. I am a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Not so much with the recent Rings of Power, but
stop, yeah.
Like the original movies based on the book Lord of the Rings are just like, I still watch them to this day. I throw them on every so often, and my kids love them as well. So it's a shame that something that I hold dear to my heart has been, thrown through
they might give it to somebody else, would they, to develop it. So like give it to somebody that has the time, the money, the effort, will actually put it better. Like the amount of stuff that's out there these days, you think they could do a better job. Even put a bit of AI on, ask ChatGPT there to make you a good game and see what it comes up with. Because they'd probably do a better job than they did.
Probably, like at the end of the day, like it's a lot of money as well. 700 million. That's a lot of shuffle.
But they must have rented out the rights to somebody else to make the game, did they? Or was it them
played
directly?
Lego games that were more enjoyable than the movies. You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm kind of in the headspace of like, if Lego could do a better job than this.
Yeah. But I agree, Ronan. One of them kind of games would be class, the Skyrim type Lord of the Rings. Like Two Tower, was it Return of the King or Two Towers, the PlayStation 2 games? That was brilliant.
That was great.
Was it Return of the King? Or was that what it's called, Ronan?
Sorry, say that again.
Two Towers or Return of the King? Which one was it on PlayStation 2?
It was the two movies. It was both of them, the Two Towers and Return of the King.
Yeah, that was class game.
They were amazing. The first one was it wasn't developed by them, and it was kind of an RPG.
Yeah.
But yeah, those two games were. I mean, you could probably put them games on now and still have fun with them. They appreciated the movies. They had the same voice actors as the movies, and they just got it right. There has been a couple of good Lord of the Rings games. There was Battle to Middle Earth was like a real-time strategy was quite fun.
Oh, Shadow
of Mordor was, so that's another one that was released.
Another one that was really good as well. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first one. The second one I couldn't really get into, but the first one was really good.
Did you really hate the last show?
Yeah, I thought Rings of Power was not good at all.
I thought that it could be a good show, but they kind of just put too much into it. I think I don't know how to explain it. There was some part, like I enjoyed the dwarfs, and I enjoyed all that kind of part of the story. But there was some parts that
there was moments of it that were definitely worth watching. But for an overall, watch, I felt there was a lot of pondering between elves, and I just don't think they got the feel of the Lord of the Rings universe right. Everything felt too shiny, and just there was too many kind of political messages throughout that kind of felt forced in your face. And I mean, it's a fantasy world that we kind of look at fantasy to get away from the real world, and I don't want to be reminded of real world issues when I'm watching a fantasy movie.
Exactly.
That's not why I watch fantasy. But look at it is what it is.
I say, and a quote I said from one of the things is media suffering under the scrutiny of opinion?
Oh, it definitely is. But sure, we know that anyway. Like, it definitely is. Like, when you get you have to understand that maybe 20 years ago, if you were creating a game, you created in your own image. Now you have to consider all these people that you may offend, and that kind of dictates your creativity, which essentially
100%. Isn't
really being creative. It's just it's being a crowd pleaser, really.
That's the thing as well. You could be doing something, you could write something, or music, you could make a game, you could write a book, and you could see it from your own point of view, and you may not find it offensive. And then it flips to a million people, and obviously they're going to see it. Sometimes some of them are going to see from a different point of view, and they're offended. Do you know what I mean? And some people don't mean it because they don't really think it's offensive to themselves.
It's we're in a strange time at the moment. But like, I mean, look at comedy. Comedy is all but destroyed at the moment. So there's a few people that are pushing the boundaries, but how long more they're going to be able to do that is yet to be seen. But yeah, Lord of the Rings, more games coming. Hopefully we get a big developer that can come in and create a game that's an open world RPG. You create your character, you can meet up with all the characters maybe that we know and love from the movie. And I mean, if Bethesda were to get it, it'd be an absolute gem, but they're busy.
It's actually kind of funny that there hasn't been way more games for Lord of the Rings. It just seems so perfect for a game. You could have so many different worlds, you could have so many different adventures from different perspectives of all the different characters. Like, it's so open. There's so much you could do.
It's just it hasn't been done right. Like, it's like it's like any kind of universe like that. It needs to be treated with care, and it needs to, I suppose, be appreciated by fans of that universe. And if you get that right, well, then it opens you up then to really creating what you want. Then the side stories, the different games and different styles of genres that you can do from it. But yeah, let's see. There is a game coming out, a Lord of the Rings game coming out that is based on the dwarves, and it's like
I prefer that.
Yeah, it's like a survival game where you're in the mines of Moria, and as far as I know, you're basically building up the whole empire, and you're mining, and you're basically just a dwarf in a mine trying to figure stuff out. So
me and Ado covered that on the Summer Game Fest. I remember watching it as well. I'm thinking to myself, like, I preferred that because
it looks okay.
Because we got into a great conversation about why dwarves have to be either Scottish accents. I was like, what's the story with that? But yeah,
they just seem Scottish
because they're tough. They have tough, rugged.
Yeah, I think it suits them. I don't know, like
North Welsh, Scottish, Northern Irish.
I think it's the brute. It's the brute look and the beards and thing that you just represents like a Scottish Highlander.
Could you imagine you came across like one of those lads like, hey, how's it going? I'm Scott. It was like, what? Whoa, where did you
Scott the Scotsman?
I'm not. Yeah, my name is Scott, but I'm from like Arizona or something. And I was like, yeah, that'd be interesting.
Back when like Nintendo came out, there was a lot of trends for changing movies into video games, but that kind of fell off after a few years. It's not that big of a thing anymore. Like you had every game going was a film. Every film going was a game back then.
Yeah, but it's more like that competition for a tournament to win the best gamer. It was that kind of.
It was like Terminator, there was loads of different ones.
Terminator, RoboCop.
Everything was changed into a game.
Yeah,
Goonies, don't do that much anymore.
I'm picking up an NES game tomorrow evening. Goonies 2.
All right.
Yeah,
I probably have it here.
I didn't even know it existed. I was like, Goonies 2? And I was like, hang on, I need to get this. So
is there a Goonies 2 movie? No,
I don't even think there is. Or is there? Somebody let us know in the chat. Let me know. Oh, I'm doing it now.
James McClinchy says the developer for Gollum did point and clicks games. This is their first big 3D game, I believe. Ooh. Okay, it's not looking good for them. Well, they might get better. They might just go off.
Goonies 2 is coming out in 2027.
All right, so you got ahead of time there.
Wow, that game's gonna be worth a fortune.
Nice.
Depends how many they made. It could be bloody loads of them.
But I don't know if they ever anticipated that. But anyway, carry on.
The next piece of news, I'm trying to stay up to date with this, but there's a lot of details
keeps changing,
kind of hidden, and it keeps changing. So what's happening with Microsoft's acquisition of Activision and Blizzard? There was news recently that Europe had allowed it to happen, but then I started to read that they still need to get the regulators in both UK and America to agree with the deal.
Yeah.
And supposedly the US are putting the foot down and saying that they're not going to let it happen.
Yeah, it's a big thing in America not to allow these corporations to grab a monopoly. It's a big thing in America. They hate it. Like they've taken apart companies before because they didn't want them to have big monopolies.
But because let's say if this is passed, like why are Sony worried about this? I don't know.
You'll have to look into how many things they own because it must be a good few things. They must own a lot of companies.
Well, Blizzard are, huge in terms of what games they have, like some of the biggest in the world. But
like if we look into how many, we'll say Blizzard, isn't it? How many companies does Blizzard own?
I think it's a case of Microsoft having so many under its belt that they can kind of dictate the market, but not necessarily. You know what I mean? But it's that kind of allegation. And over in America, from what I understand, when it comes to these kind of monopolizing companies, they want their consumers to have choices to prevent some kind of either the best pricing or the best for your money, and also to help other businesses grow.
Yeah, it's definitely not good.
But what's the difference between this and, say, the acquisition of Mojang, Minecraft? Is that not a bigger entity than...
I'd actually have to look into this more and see the whole picture, because I really don't know either, to be honest. There has to be something, unless it's, you need a couple of brown envelopes to get this passed kind of job. I don't know. Like there's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of tape being put up to stop this happening. Like I've never seen such a big deal being made out of it. Like they're going, you have to go to Europe, you have to go to America, you have to go to Britain. Now they're out of Europe, you have to do this, you have to do that. Like there's so much. They have to jump going through a lot of hoops.
Luke mentioned there, Call of Duty is the big one, I reckon. To be honest with you, I kind of disagree with that, because when you look at Blizzard, you have League of Legends, which is like arguably the biggest esporting game in the world. You also have Valorant now that's owned by Blizzard as well. Look, it's definitely
Overwatch.
an absolute massive game. Like, don't get me wrong, and I think it appeals to a more mainstream gamer. But in terms of the other games that they have at their disposal, I think it has to be the whole package. It's not just Call of Duty, because I think Call of Duty is still going to be on PlayStation. I think this
What
deal
if they
is going to
decided
be...
not to have it on PlayStation? Though?
I think that's a bad move
argument.
from Microsoft. I think...
I don't think Microsoft would do that.
No, they
personally.
won't. They won't do it.
They won't. I don't think they would ever do that, to be honest with you. But the whole argument began with, oh, well, Call of Duty is going to be released on Xbox instead of PlayStation. This goes back to the whole beta release, or who's going to get the game first a couple of days before Xbox or whoever gets it. Like this is a similar stupid argument that I've heard for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
It's either,
but like in business terms, it would make sense, but I don't think Microsoft would do it.
But that's only on the basis of like if the developers agree and whatever the market. Like there's obviously lots of layers, because.
But like if you look at it from PlayStation's point of view, where PlayStation always have the best story-driven games, and that's what sells the consoles. Games sell consoles, right?
Yeah.
So like if you looked back and said that Call of Duty is not going to be on PlayStation, the Call of Duty players would go buy Xboxes. There's a big following for Call of Duty, but like massive.
The reality is that we have so many games that are crossplay now. They can't just turn it off. You know what I mean? Not just,
I'm just saying, it is possible. I know they won't, but it's just to throw a spanner in the works. It is possible that they could.
But Microsoft has had a lot of arguments in trying to get the pro players, everyone to crossplay as well. That was always being their backing, saying that they would always try to push crossplay, and always had pushback from Sony. I would not be surprised at all if the same bickering BS goes down to the whole Call of Duty thing. And again, Ronan is right as well. There's so many different IPs under that, like Overwatch for one. You can see how they're getting on in the news. So like, it is interesting.
I think I might do a deep dive and actually do
Apologies,
a video
my
on
bad. League of Legends is Riot Games. It's not Blizzard.
All right.
You're thinking of
what is the big one that I'm thinking of? It's not Dota, is it? No, that's.
We'd probably look it up.
Yeah, that's my bad. I thought it was League of Legends. It's Riot Games that
Hearthstone
develop
as well
League.
is in there, isn't it?
Yeah, Hearthstone is definitely
definitely
Blizzard.
in there. That's definitely a Blizzard. But like, there's so
World
many
of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft. There is so many, and think of how much of a player base they already have anyway, right? So if you're comparing the legacy of some of those games, and then you're comparing it all up, I can understand to where the stupidity is coming from with it's going to be making it exclusive for Call of Duty. It's not about Call of Duty, but I can understand as well where they are afraid that has one company that controls everything beneath it. Like, say, for example, if a company was to have, hypothetically speaking, something happens financially in one of the quarters or one of the years, where are they going to start cutting jobs?
But that's companies do. They do cut jobs.
You know,
a lot of the time.
And that's like what department is least productive and what doesn't work out for us. What happens if we see like some game isn't pulling their weight that everyone loves, and they're like, well, can't work on this as much anymore. We're going to move that staff over to that studio, or that staff over to that
But
studio.
that would happen if under any company. It wouldn't just happen if it was taken part. But they wouldn't happen. Like, they just get rid of it. Like, that's business.
That's business. But that's it as well. So we don't know what the real conversation
I think I'll do a video on it and do a deep dive. I think it'd be very interesting.
I feel like the Call of Duty, like, I always compare that to the Minecraft acquisition, where it's such a massive game that I think Microsoft would be creating way too many enemies if they just turn around one day and said it's exclusive on Xbox. You're cutting out a lot of the player base. Luke says there that a lot of the COD was exclusive on PS for years, so the content that was released on COD would have been exclusive to PlayStation, but it's still on both consoles. And I think that's what's going to happen with this acquisition. There is going to be skins and stuff that you can get on Xbox that you're not going to be able to get on
But you can do that anyway with Overwatch. I had to like get skins on my PlayStation and then get my skins on my, for Rocket League or whatever. So
Yeah.
we going around from account to account pulling those in. The only reason why people don't get those skins is you don't own that console. And that's like no one's forcing you to buy a console. Yeah, that's the reality.
But
of
I like competitiveness in the market. I think that
it's a choice.
it has to keep happening. Like it's not a big deal if you can only you can buy a phone and get a skin for Fortnite. Like it's just things that people do to push their product and help it to go along. But I definitely think that we don't know enough information, and
and that's why I said at the start. It's one that I kind of brush over because. I mean, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Like the deal.
I'd like to see why it's such a big deal that for it not to happen. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So will they? Won't they? Oh my god!
Like they've acquired so many studios in the past couple of years. Like they're doing like what we maybe would have gave out about Microsoft doing a couple of years ago. They've totally turned the tide, and they have started to acquire studios like Bethesda, which I understand why Starfield would only be exclusive because it's that single player. It's a new game coming. Yes, people are going to possibly go out and buy an Xbox or a PC because of that game. Elder Scrolls lovers, I know I'm looking forward to playing it as well. Like that game makes sense to me to have it exclusive on console and PC. Call of Duty doesn't because of the massive multiplayer aspect of it.
Crossplay. They can't just turn it off.
Yeah.
That's my argument.
Crossplay what?
Crossplay with Call of Duty.
They can't just turn it off, so yeah.
So Microsoft again will continue on with them. They have revealed a new Xbox console. So Microsoft capped off its Xbox Game Showcase with the reveal of a brand new Xbox Series S console. Microsoft Xbox Games Showcase was an exciting flurry of brand new game reveals, giving players glimpses of games like Fable 4, Avowed, and other big-time Xbox console exclusives on the horizon. So this is basically an upgrade to the Xbox Series S, the, let's say, less powerful Xbox.
Yeah.
It's got an increased hard drive. It doesn't have any increase of performance, supposedly going by this report.
It's just a hard drive that's really 1 terabyte, isn't it? That's what it's gone up to.
It's just a full digital unit. You're not getting any disk space.
No, that's the S standard. That's what it's always been. The standard's always been that.
Yeah.
But like it's interesting that 1 terabyte that they're bringing it out. Like if I was going to buy one now, I'd be going for the 1 terabyte. It's just a bigger download or whatever. But they have external hard drives, don't they? You can put on very easily for Xboxes.
Yeah,
too,
USB you can pop into, but on the Xbox
it's a lot easier than the PlayStation. I know that.
Yeah, well, I've done it on the PlayStation myself.
Enjoy your dinner, Jinx.
Quite straightforward to do the internal update for that or internal.
I know it's straightforward for you.
And I assure
not
you,
everybody
it'll
can
be
do
straightforward for everyone. It is. If I'm able to do it, you'll be fine.
I understand, but some people don't have the confidence to, they won't even attempt it. Like there's people that have called me out to push back in a pipe. It's like, here you go. That's it. Confidence isn't there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, just afraid to break something.
We had a community question based on this topic, and it was from James. The Series S, should Microsoft just admit it's holding development of games back because it's not as powerful, or should they keep it as an option to keep their consoles affordable? He wants us to be as detailed as this as possible. So,
okay, well, go, Ron. You're the best at this.
I don't think it's holding games back. I mean, I have a PC. It's not the most powerful PC in the world. If I'm playing a game that has graphics that are, that needs a card that is up to date, I just dial back the graphics. I don't think it stops developers developing a game. We're in a stage now where most games, actually every game, is developed on a PC system, and there's an ability to drop back on graphics, drop back on frame rate, and I don't think it's going to.
Can you do that on Xbox and PlayStation? Can you drop back the graphics and stuff?
Yeah, there's a performance / graphics.
I never looked at that before.
Optimize and then optimizing graphics or performance, I think it's called. And then you can adjust it that way. But as well, you can adjust the resolution. That brings down the graphics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really up to yourself.
I think it's a great option to have if you're just somebody, like myself, that plays just Forza on Xbox, that you can just buy this cheap system, be able to play it you know, like I'm sure it runs okay. You know, it's going to run
Yeah.
at the 60 frames. It mightn't run in 4K, but I don't think it's going to stop
Do you think that
development.
it could be one of the reasons why Starfield only comes out in 30 frames per second?
Because it's going to be rendering us stuff and stuff and more stuff and more stuff.
Yeah, but is that a
60
reason as well? The
FPS,
Xbox is not, the S is not as powerful as well. That could be like just
maybe.
throwing it
Uh,
out there, just throwing it out there. Catch it, catch it.
It might be. It might be down to the simple fact that the game is so expansive that as
Yeah,
you're
30 it is,
traveling
yeah.
and everything like that, it may not be fast enough to render some of the stuff in, or to I don't know, maybe some of it would glitch out in a certain animation scenes that they probably locked it down to 60. There's so many questions.
No, it's locked to
I wouldn't
30.
answer.
No,
30.
it's
Or
30.
sorry,
Yeah,
30, big
I
man,
looked
yeah.
at the interview with Todd Howard, and he just said that we've tested it and we feel like for people to get the best experience, we've locked it at 30 frames. It's locked at 30 frames on both the X and the S, so it doesn't
Yeah.
make a difference on what console
Really
you're
do-
on. You're getting 30 frames. He did say that obviously that'll be unlocked on PC if that's the way you want to go. But he just said that to get a consistent performance on console,
That kind of goes back to that
this is where we
question,
are.
though. That kind of goes back to that question. Is that the truth of it? Is that the reason? Maybe they don't want to hurt the sales of the S,
The
so they're going to keep
customer
them all.
experience, you've seen a lot of games that come out and people instantly jump onto the FPS argument. You've seen it with Star Wars. We've seen it with so many that came out. As
I
soon
don't
as you
get the
see-
obsession with the FPS, I don't get this. I don't.
Apparently, humanly possible, we can't even make a difference of anything higher than a certain FPS.
Is it
anyway.
1080p or something? Or I don't think you can see 4K.
I have to Google it,
that.
but there is something like that anyway. In the same way with like listening back to certain things, like people's ears are different to like I have one ear that still has the cartilage of a 16-year-old, so I can hear high pitches out of this ear. Like, so it's your ears are not the same. Well, so it's really, I think it's really down to the consumer experience. Maybe it is the fact that they don't want to get hurt. They want the customer experience as best they can in what they're developing, and what they're developing took years in the making, people. Like I feel I don't know what it is with some games.
When the S went to come out, like
Stop it.
I kind of said that what was I saying? I kind of said that a lot of people would go out and buy it for their kids because it'd be a cheaper option. Like it'd be a better option than the massive X. But I was proven wrong because the X flew out the door and the S was sitting on the on the counter. You could buy an S, you couldn't get a PlayStation 5, you couldn't get an Xbox X, but you could get the Xbox S no problem at that time when it came out. So shows you.
Yeah, but like it really is down. I honestly do think like with the way games have been coming out, the attitude of some gamers, not everyone, but there is a lot of very entitled, privileged, up their own people out there that feel like how dare you, 30, I'm only privileged to 60. Like, calm down. Like, they're doing the best they can. They've spent years in this game. They wanted to be received great. They're probably still working on something in the back end to see what else they can do to adapt the game to the hardware that it's working with. You know what I mean? Because that's what they're working with. They're not working with a PC. They're working with what's given to them to make this game work. And if they have to look at 30 FPS, I don't know if that is, if you're looking for the blame or pointing the finger at anyone, but you can go ahead and you can say, oh yeah, you guys, you need to push it up, to 60. Yeah, but it's Xbox and PlayStation that we feel like this is the best performance. If you push it any further, it'll be a poor experience for you. Yeah. So like, are you going to force that poor experience on yourself as a consumer? And then when it happens to you, you're going to still moan and cry about it? Like, do you hear what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's very toddler-esque attitude.
The only thing I'll say is I don't believe a word out of Todd Howard's mouth, but what we can do is make sure, hopefully, please God, the game comes out, it runs consistently at 30 frames, and it's not a buggy piece of crap like that we are so used to Bethesda releasing. Yeah, like
thrown in fully baked game. Like, we've all been crying for a fully baked game, and we've all said it to ourselves that we are willing to wait. And they're saying this is good enough to go, I have to rely on that. You know?
No, Starfield's going to be awesome. To be honest, I think it's going to be brilliant. Yeah. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to it. But our question was about the S, really.
No, sorry. Oh yeah, but speaking of the S, I'm not crazy about all digital consoles coming out in general. Anyway, because I like tangible holding my games.
Yeah, a lot of people. That's our generation.
Physical. Look at it. It's real.
Do you have
real?
Do you have a CD port on your PC?
A CD port on my PC for me?
Like, do you have PC physical games?
Yeah, CD port. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
You have one?
Yeah, like it's stored away at the moment. I don't have anything on this.
Well, you don't have one then.
I haven't had one in years on my PC, and that's why I think I'm kind of so used to just being digital now.
Yeah, well, the Steam Deck has added a lot more convenience at the end of the day. I don't know where I put her. She's right over there somewhere. But that Steam Deck, let me tell you, that has opened up my appreciation for Steam library so much more than a digital consumer for consoles. If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I'm enjoying it a lot. But for the Xbox Carbon series, for the amount of money they're throwing out, I can understand why they're just putting out the digital format. Maybe it has better performance without the some of the power getting pulled from the disk space. I don't know if that even makes any sense. Well, maybe it doesn't, maybe it does. But for the price marker, $349, it's a little bit expensive. Do you?
Yeah, I was going to say that if they had it the same price as the original, I mean the original one is pretty dated now.
What is how much is the original one? $299?
$299, yeah.
$299.
Well, you're just paying an extra 30 quid for the terabyte, aren't you, really?
Well, then
is there no way of upgrading the...
Yeah, there is. There's an extra. You can buy, as we're saying, you could buy a hard drive, external hard drive for it. I don't know how much it is though. External hard drive for Xbox, but I know it's a lot easier. We were talking about this already, but
yeah, seems pretty weird.
60 quid for an external hard drive.
Okay, so you're saving a tenner.
That's a
terabyte. That's a terabyte. And you can get a 2 terabyte one for 90.
But you also have access to a disc, so you can buy second-hand games that'd be even cheaper, so you won't be locked into the store.
Hold on, you can get a double side. You can get a 2 terabyte one for 90 quid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, how much is the Xbox Series X going for now?
Oh, the X.
Series X, I don't know.
$499 over here in the Netherlands, anyway. But we're looking at $280 for an
SSDs, not hard drives. Sorry, SSDs.
Sorry, 227.
Did I say X? Yeah, I had just normal hard drive, so I don't know about the SSD. But you need an SSD for
oh, they're just Xbox. Normal hard drives, aren't
they have.
Yeah, I think they're normal hard drives.
Oh,
so you get hard drive.
They have a weird little kind of like, it almost looks like a Dreamcast memory.
No, the mechanical drives they should be taken off the market now.
It's nothing worse. I broke one on my PC before, and I just, you drop the PC, or not the PC, sorry, I dropped my laptop, and it was gone, dead.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that at all.
No, none of us do. Breaking things is not good. What's next, anyway?
Dead Cells animated series set to premiere in 2024. I played Dead Cells. I absolutely loved the game. It's, hard as nails. Almost.
You think it transfers well over for a TV show?
Yeah, I think it does. I really like the art style of it, and if they use a similar art style to it, I'm just going to open up the report here and see is there any details.
What is the lore of Dead Cells?
Stay alive for as long as possible without getting killed.
But is there any story to it?
There is, but I can't. It's been a while since I played it, so let's have a look here.
So apparently it's supposed to be Dead Cells is a roguelike Castlevania-inspired action platformer, allowing you to explore a sprawling, ever-changing castle.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. By saving a kingdom. Yeah, so basically save your kingdom by killing all the enemies. It's quite simple. Yeah, it's really good. The gameplay is really tight, and I'll definitely check out if there's an animated series. I think it would be very suitable for the game.
I wonder, do you have any idea where it's coming out to watch? Is it Netflix or does it say?
Scheduled for release in 2024, will be created by the French studio Bobby Pills, known for their work on the Dead Cell animated trailer. So we do have a trailer, and we'll play that next week on the show because I don't have it ready.
That's cool.
Yeah, so this one,
it has a bit of a following, Dead Cells too, doesn't it? So it'll have a lot of people trying to watch it, would be looking to watch it.
Yeah, John likes it as well. I know when I was playing, I recommended to him, and he found it extremely good as well. It's a very, very fun game to play, and those roguelike games, you get to a stage, you die, but you learn something and you try it again, and that's exactly the way Dead Cells plays. So it's definitely worth checking it out.
So it doesn't play like a Mega Man game where you die and you die again and you die once more and it's game over?
No, it's game over the first time you die. It's one of those games, think.
No
No.
mulligans. No mulligans.
No mulligans, no. Superman and Lois renewed for a 4th season while Gotham Knights gets cancelled. Never watched any of these, but if anyone has, jump in. Paddy, you're the superhero guy.
I didn't watch it. I was actually hoping Aidan came along to see them because he was the kind of man that watches them shows from what they call CW, or what's the name of the company?
CW, or even
CW,
DC,
yeah.
or even Marvel, or anything
Gotham
like
Knights.
that.
Everyone's trying to take these shows and do it in the genre and do it in the place, but it just never seems to bloody work. What did you watch? Is it Gotham, the other one?
Gotham was pretty decent.
Gotham was pretty decent, but like in terms of Gotham Knights, I couldn't get into it, to be honest with you. But a lot of people seem to enjoy it.
What was it about? Who was
Not
it based
enjoy
on?
it, but
The Gotham series.
Yeah.
Professor Gordon, when he was a young man getting into the force.
Detective Gordon.
Detective
Professor,
Gordon.
yeah, not
Detective, not professor.
Detective.
All right, that's a good. There's some good, nice animated series on Mr. Gordon. Like, he's a good character to have it on. But I suppose that's just a really detective show then, really, isn't it? Just based on that. Is Penguin's coming out as well? Like, that's going to be kind of the same thing, but should be better.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have a look and see how they're getting on, because the amount of shifts and changes and everything else that's happened over that neck of the woods, I can't even keep up.
I love Batman.
You know?
I'm Batman. I'm hoping to see The Flash this week. I actually went to see Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man. Is it what's it called? Into Spider-Verse? Brilliant film.
Brilliant.
It's like down to art style, down to the music, down to the storytelling. Very, very well made. And if anyone hasn't seen it yet, I do recommend going and seeing it.
And if you haven't seen it,
I'm going to go during the week to see it with my son.
Break my heart. Bring tissues. It's great. You'll have a moment.
The first one is amazing. Like, talk about doing superhero stuff right. That animated show is just top class.
And even at that, like, we're gonna have a live action Miles Morales as well coming. Let's go. So from
but they haven't picked the actor yet, have they?
No, I haven't heard anything. And anytime I see these reports, everyone's always announced like, breaking news, so and so has been cast for like Fantastic Four. I've seen like 17 people being cast for Fantastic Four. Will you stop? Like, no one knows what the hell's up. But no, I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen anything. Just the announcement of who would be directing it. Oh, what's her name? What's her face? I can't remember her face. But anyway, she'll be directing it. And we'll have to see how we get on. But the way these guys are going with renewing Superman and Lois, I did not. First of all, how long has that show been going on? Second of all, like,
no, it was cancelled for a long time when it came back. Superman and Lois is brilliant back in the day. I loved the old Superman and Lois program.
Yeah, but the old one, was great. Now, I used to watch that on Sky One like any other person, but like,
was it on Sky One? No, I'm talking on back in fucking RTE days, like back then.
Oh well,
RTE back in the day, sir.
On a Sunday morning.
Yeah, I don't remember who was on. You remember them shows? What was the Xena Warrior Princess? That was
I remember that.
Yeah, it was on Saturday evening just before the big movie.
Yeah, the big movie on that. Yeah,
RT had us by them. Because nothing else. We had nothing else.
We had I remember when TV3 came along.
Yeah, TV3's like, whoa, another channel.
Wait, that makes 4. And people are like, hang on, what? If it's called TV3, what's the 4? Was that TG Car?
I remember when they were doing their big push to show TV3, and it was the song 3 is a magic number. And that was their whole thing, and it was brilliant. I loved it. TV3 sucks. My RT sucks.
Wait, I can't keep up anymore.
TG Car is a bit better because they kind of move with the times, and they had better shows. They had nice.
TG Car had South Park on at 6 p.m. after school, all in Irish.
Brilliant.
I still can't. And I remember the moment I was sitting up in my other apartment like nearly 10 years ago, watching South Park, an episode from like the 90s, and I was like, oh my god, this is hitting way different than it should. Like, it was so weird. So, like, because in there, like, for those who don't know, like, all of the bad language, all of the innuendos of South Park, they just put in whatever. You know what I mean?
Good times.
Good times.
Good times.
The latest season is meant to be pretty good.
Superman and Lois, they have kids now, you know what I mean? So he's like a working dad, you know what I mean? So that's kind of the weird thing about this for me. It's like,
what, like a dad that works? I think that's
well,
normal.
it's not. It's no, it's weird.
He's
like,
appealing to the masses.
he should be branded. What's going like, Superman brought you by Taco Bell, like something would be like perfect.
Straight to your ass, baby.
He flies the sun into school.
But so it's case of like apparently from the synopsis here, it's like after years of facing supervillains, monsters, and alien invaders, the world's most famous superhero, the Man of Steel, aka Clark Kent, and comic books famed journalist Lois Lane come face to face with one of the greatest challenges ever: dealing
Kids.
with being working parents. Like, how is this like on the meters?
I think it's like appealing to the masses. Like, I could be Superman because he works.
But nothing about that makes me want to go and watch it. Like, does that make sense?
I would run and watch
I
Gotham
live
Knights
that life.
If it's more if it's more thriller out of it, I'd watch Gotham Knights over this.
And I'd be honest, like over the years and years and years, any like superhero program that was made in TV show usually is not good. Like, I did not enjoy a lot of them until they started coming to Disney. Disney does it really well.
Have you watched the original Flash? Like from the 90s?
No, from the 90s. No, not from the 90s.
Oh.
I think Marvel did a better job in recent times on TV shows than DC.
No, 100%. The TV shows some of them are epic. I love them.
Yeah.
But like the likes of the TV shows that CW does, no, I don't like them.
No.
But some people love them. Like Aiden probably likes them. There's some people that it hits for, and it just doesn't hit for me. At all.
It's very cheesy. Sure,
it's the Irish section of the podcast. What do Idaho.
Yeah, we'll do an El Shannog later. If those who are Irish know what we're talking about, put an El Shamrock in the chat. Anyway,
bring your whiskey.
But it's too cheesy. That's my problem with the whole show. I find it so.
They're always cheesy. Them shows are always cheesy.
I don't like.
They're always like, they do that part at the end where they're all like buddy, and I can't believe this happened.
I can't even watch romantic comedies over that kind of shit. It's like, oh my god, will he? Won't he? I was like, you know what? How about she just goes away and he can feck off?
I always say this. Now, this is a broad statement. Please don't.
Here we go.
But I always say, like, this is the part where they go kind of American. Do you know what the American always has that soppy kind of part?
Cheesy.
Maybe I shouldn't say that.
They have a wholesome cheesiness to some situations where reality for us, we all met in nightclubs and stuff, like didn't like, oh, he was on the beach and he bought me coffee. No, he puked on my shoe while we were having shots. So like, what was love? Like that's
He brought me home in a taxi while I was asleep, and I was lucky to get home that night.
I was lucky to get home. I lost a shoe, but I got.
He was my hero. YouTuber Harris Heller frustrated after getting harassed by Twitch staff on stream. So I did a video on the YouTube. Go and check it out. Drop a sub, and we did a reaction to this, which I found quite strange.
The video.
It's the strangest thing I ever seen on video. Like, I've had a mixer. I've had moderators and stuff in my chat, right? And I've had situations that that could have happened or whatever, and they would code it to me, but I've never had anyone pull up someone over their own opinion like this.
Yeah, so we'll just to let the viewers know what we're talking about. So he was streaming. Harris Heller, an amazing YouTuber, content creator, did so much for the content creation community in terms of guides. If you want to go and look at a review on a camera, chances are he has been an amazing asset to the community, and just seems like a good person overall. And he was obviously on stream on Twitch giving his opinion on, this is going to be a little bit broad as well, but the state of the platform at the moment in terms of the decisions being made at a higher level, and essentially taking a lot of funding off streamers with the 50-50 split. The whole brand placement garbage that now they want to have it at a certain size on your screen, and they want a percentage of whatever you're making. He was giving his opinion on this, on ways that could possibly improve the platform, and then all of a sudden a Twitch member of staff came in and basically said, no one said you were wrong about anything. You can have opinions and those are fine, but basically turned around and said, sorry, the first one was, no one is saying you were wrong about anything, just you have so many assumptions that are way off. That was what kicked off the conversation. And then he tried to defend himself by saying, I wasn't saying you were wrong and blah, blah, blah. It was a really kind of awkward moment. He felt that, you know, the social anxiety was real during it. And I just think, and I said it in the video as well, that a member of staff comes in. It could have been a really positive interaction where a streamer and a member of staff could have had a conversation about the, you know, the future of the platform, on maybe different opinions on what might work, what isn't working at the moment. But instead it was just this guy coming in and basically saying, don't talk smack about my company. And it was just crazy. Go and watch the video.
Super arrogant.
It's strange, yeah, very arrogant. Yeah, arrogant is a great word to use.
Like, you're like, God bless him. Like, your man Harris he handled that very well.
He did handle it well.
I know for myself, I'd be like, take your contract, and like,
he's not contracted with them.
But you know what I mean? Like, if you're partnered with them or whatever.
He tried to ban him, and you can't ban Twitch
you
staff.
Can't, no, you,
just
you
to
can't
let everyone
ban.
know.
You can't ban. Yeah, I could have told you that as well. Like, we tried to ban staff for the laugh in our channel, and they used to laugh at us. It was great. That's how we used to have fun with our staff. But on this person feels like I said, like they come across arrogant of what they're saying, only on the basis that, like, you know for a fact you're being shown up as staff. So you're going around as if you have some crown, like you are the head of everything right now. So that's already hard. Like, the impression's already been made. So like you said, Ronan, there could have been a great way of giving some kind of positivity back, especially what he does for the whole community. He's a great advocate for the whole community, right? Because when I started and you started and everyone else started, it was very hard to get help. So this fella's gone out of his way to do a lot in his own hands for us, right? So the way this fella, Seth, or whoever the hell the user was of the staff that came in, and I know he was trying to take part in the conversation in a way, but my dude, just shut the hell up and back down. Like, you shouldn't even open your mouth in what was going on right now across the whole board. And this just makes it even worse for users.
I find that,
you know?
that people, when they work at a company, they get very loyal and feel they want to back the company a lot.
They don't care about you. It's a corporation.
No. I'm trying to explain something. No. I'm trying to explain something differently.
Yeah, sorry. No,
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that as an individual person, that they work for. But they work for Twitch and they want to back Twitch, and they feel like Twitch has been maybe talked about wrongly. Like, we know people that work in companies and different things, and they get very emotional and very driven about it because they work for them. They're loyal to them. That's where they make their money.
I'm sure they're in staff members, you know.
He didn't hold his tongue that day, and he couldn't hold it anymore because Harris, I'm not sticking up for him. I'm just giving a different point of view.
Yeah.
Harris Heller, like, he's always given out about Twitch. He left Twitch. He doesn't like it, but that's his job. That's his opinion. That's what he's supposed to do. He's he's trying to give a voice to the content creators and to say what he's giving an opinion on what they should do. He might not be right about everything he says, you know, and like maybe they shouldn't listen to him. But they made him feel uncomfortable, which is not right. He should have asked him privately, can we have a chat about this? You know what I mean? Instead of coming into stream, that's how it would have been held, or been a lot different and been better.
Yeah. But
I reckon your man gets fired for that. Like, if
depends how high up he is, but
I don't think, like, if that guy is that arrogant to walk into that stream, I don't think they're high up at all.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I honestly think, and I hope this person reached out to me and has a proper adult conversation instead of being some emotional little toddler all over the internet, right? And I hope we have that. But I feel like this person comes across as a very low level staff member. Because if you were smart enough, you would have shut your mouth in the situation that you're in. And you're right, probably in the aspect of, like, they're loyal to the company, but maybe the company is all like, oh, we're company family. Man. We're family. We have each other. We're together in this. We're a band. That's what
a lot of companies do, though. That's if you're not together, like, what's the point?
Yeah, but it's professionalism, like, in a platform that you're live.
Creative director.
Yeah. If he is creative director, he should have created himself a good situation instead of this.
He's creative director. Holy crap!
Like, if that is the case, thanks, Sylvia, for
the problem as well is text. Text comes over across the only way you wanted it to come across. Do you know what I mean? It's, like, it's hard if they are friends that might come around differently. Might felt differently towards Harris.
To be honest
Maybe,
with you,
maybe I'm wrong. I
He's-
swear to God, I was helping with the editing that video last night, and I heard
Yeah.
wrong about 1,000 times. I was like, please stop saying it.
I
Please
sent it
stop
over to
saying
Paddy,
wrong.
and he was like, "Oh, I'll do the captions." I was like, "Oh yes, thanks, Paddy."
Please God, yeah.
And it took a lot longer than it should.
I
but
told
won't
you.
talk about that.
I told you that those captions and their accents work. But like it's
No, the
if that-
captions are grand. They're all captions. But I was trying to make it look better. I was trying to change the color for when he talked and change the color then when you talked. And I was trying to put it in different perspective, in different places to make it look better. But what happened? I did it all, and then I pressed a button, and I didn't realize I messed it all up. And I was like, "Oh my God, fuck it!" And I just went, "It's just going out that way. I can't." It's like 10:30 at night, and I needed to do another video.
10:30.
But at the
11. The 11.
But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like Ronan, like listen, I don't care if he's creative director or PR
Yeah.
specialist or guy that cleans the toilets. If he has a
I know.
badge that said that toilet, if he has a badge that says he's staff, he needs to
he did.
read
Held
the
it.
room. He should not open his mouth and feel invited to the conversation, especially using your own staff account.
I think the elephant in the room
I don't
that we
know. It's
haven't
stupid.
spoken about yet is, this person came into the stream, obviously seen Harris talking about the state of Twitch and what could be changed. Somebody that streams on Twitch, and I know, like, I don't want you to kind of, get yourself in any trouble here, but how do you feel in terms of the way the platform is at the moment? Is it in a good place? Do you see it improving over the next couple of months?
Ronan, I'm not chasing for partnership for a good reason.
Yeah. So
Like,
let's talk about it.
Like I've done the dancing around. I've been through the chase. I've seen what was behind the curtain, and
Yeah.
I've done everything that I wanted to learn out of that aspect. And I thank the lads at Mixer for giving me that opportunity, hands down. And by the way, I wasn't exclusive. I was able to stream wherever I wanted. You know what I mean? At the
Yeah.
same time. So when I was moving over to Twitch, I had to have a conversation with my community because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I was like, oh my God, the reason why I left Twitch is because I was annoyed with it. Applied for partnership 5 times, gotten denied. And then as soon as I got partnered on Mixer, I'm having like thousands of concurrent. Like it's crazy. But the moment I had that decision, I sat down and talked with my community and I said to myself, and I promised myself, I was like, I will never go for partnership because I just see that as just a collar around my neck. I don't know how best way to describe it. The opportunity that I had beforehand, I was very happy with because of the opportunities they were giving me. I wasn't exclusive, wasn't locked down to so many things. I felt like they were working for us. For
Yeah.
Twitch, on the other hand, from the way, not even the last, like I got on here 2 years ago to go full time. And I was like, I'm not going for partnership because I see how these lads are getting treated in terms of their partnerships, in terms of their contract, in terms of different things that are happening in between. It'd be great if I got that cut as well with the 70-30, blah, blah, blah. But even when TwitchCon rolled around, and then I was there in Amsterdam watching the board while they now saying, like, by the way, we're changing the cut, and all this stuff. I was like, this is a great
Was there
decline.
like food and banana skins thrown at them at that stage, or?
No, I have video of them. They're all sitting
Where did you
there.
get the bananas from?
They're all sitting there lounging in chairs like this. So I can find a video we can edit up and show you. if
Yeah,
you want.
100%. I'd love to see that.
I have loads of video from
The
Twitch.
downfall of Twitch.
But it's
It's going to be a new documentary on the Republic of Players.
But it was always
I
the
ain't making
conversation. Like the conversation even
You're
went
doing
back
captions.
further as well, Ronan. Like when we were on Mixer and we had artists on Mixer that wanted to do body paint. The body paint conversation came up on Mixer as well because I knew it was a big thing on Twitch and like it was a whole thing with Zombie Unicorn and all this other stuff that was going on back then, right? So this was a few years ago. But we were able to have a conversation with our staff. We were able to go into our town halls or little meetings or whatever it is you want to call them. And we're able to have a proper conversation instead of taking it to social media all the time and screaming at them for that communication. But we were very lucky then. We had that conversation with our partner managers. We were able to touch and communicate and get a full comprehensive understanding and a roadmap of what the plans were. With Twitch, that will never exist ever. I have played with teams of Noble and Liquid and everything like that, big Twitch streamers, right? That you would consider big, right? In like, oh yeah, I'll have 100K or maybe have 50,000 or whatever. These guys don't get any partner management at all until you're like top dog. I had a partner manager for 5 years at my level.
But do you need a partner manager?
I thought it was great. You know why? Because I have loads of opportunities with my partner manager because I got to sit down and
What
work
did the partner
through-
manager do?
He worked with me and for me. right? So
Right.
what happens was on our weeklies, we'll go through how my stream was, what was the challenges that I saw, any kinds of ups and downs, looks at reports, what are the opportunities in the future, what are the things that I need to work on that he has noticed as well, right?
Yeah,
Right.
that's
So
positive.
then I have a look at like what are like, okay, we need to schedule what's happening in these events in the future. These are the seasons. What are you doing for Women's Month? Okay, let's look at doing, Women's Month is also happening around March. Okay, well, Paddy's Day is around that. So let's try and make a day for that so we can do a big promo. Like I had someone sit there and work with me that wanted to actually, mentor and make sure that I grew into something that I wanted to be successful with.
Yeah.
So, like a lot of these guys are on Twitch, I've noticed either you have to hire these people or be that manager in your own head as best as you can with the knowledge that you have around them. So, like a lot of these guys, I'll be sitting there going, like, have you not spoken to your, like, I remember sitting in Germany talking to some of these big, I consider big guys, they're making millions in esports. I was like, oh yeah, like, who are you on the phone to, think? I was like, sorry, I was on the phone to my manager. He just wants to know how I'm getting on at the event and letting me know if I needed anything and that there's a Microsoft representative there and so will be in contact or whatever. And it's like, you have a manager? It's like, yeah. It's like, do you know? The guy's like, I think we do. I'm not sure if we do. I was like, this is nuts. So even thinking about that, Ronan,
Yeah.
like, where is the investment in the content creators? If they went ahead, made rule changes, and you see my tweet where I was like, that's right, you effed around and you found out because you refuse to have a conversation and consult streamers. It's so obvious. It's so obvious. Like,
and is that not like this? Like, not just to go back to the original question in terms of where do you see it being, like, for me that doesn't bring any confidence to me in the platform that somebody like you that could make partner. Like your stream did unbelievable today, nearly 100 viewers concurrent.
I don't want partnership. I do not want partnership.
Like you're probably one of the only people that have, you've gone through the experience that you've gone through. What about a new up and comer streamer that really puts their heart and soul into something, only to get to a stage where they're given the platform 50% of their earnings? Like,
don't put all your eggs in one basket. Yeah,
well, I've always said that anyway. Like, and that's why I think, especially Paddy and myself, like, we've solely gone over to YouTube. We like the way it's, it allows us to push towards a really difficult goal in trying to get partnered with them. Yeah. But then when you get partnered, they don't take so like Twitch does.
But that's the thing about when you get to partnership. Like I said, like, Hildish is in the channel. She's also been a partner with Mixer as well, and she has great experiences just as well. And I still work for her to this day.
You're very welcome, Hildish. Thanks for joining us.
We have in our community on Mixer versus the tone on Twitch, right? The tone on Mixer was we all left Twitch for a reason that we didn't feel supported. We wanted to be successful. We didn't want to stand on people's heads. We wanted to stand shoulder to shoulder. We created that tone on Mixer Beam at the time, and it stayed there for a long time. That never came on Twitch ever for any of us, really, unless you're in a team that was willing to work together.
Why are you on Twitch?
But the reason why I'm on Twitch is because when I had a conversation with my community and I said, well, I know Mixers is shut down and they said that they're moving over to Facebook Gaming, and I'm debating whether I want to go over to YouTube or whether I want to do whatever. So I reached out to the best people that supported me then in the start, because I wouldn't have been successful without them, right? Where would you like me to go? Where would you feel comfortable seeing me? And they said, for now, Twitch. And I said, okay, I'll go to Twitch, but I'm not going for partnership. And they understood.
There's not much success stories of people moving platform. Only if you're huge. Huge.
And you're Ninja and you're getting paid millions only to go back to Twitch. And then
only got put off Twitch as well, didn't he? Recently.
Yeah. But it's kind of crazy. I don't know how it's going to go, but if my investment...
Ninja has his money made. Like, surely he doesn't need to keep streaming every day.
I wish I had a few pounds behind him.
He doesn't need to be streaming 6 days a week. I don't even have 2 coins
to rub together, never mind anything else.
But he loves it. Like, people live for it too. Like, there's more to it than money. It's like Conor McGregor just keeps fighting.
I think it's sad that Twitch, like, when with its inception, there was like this kind of envy. Following and yeah, like everyone
envy
promoted.
And a passionate, like, real, like, a chase. I've had that chase. I chased it 5 times and they denied me, and I was like, right, I'm done.
Like, people were buzzing for TwitchCon and used to get like people wearing the purple t-shirts, and that has all anymore. It's all gone.
But maybe it's just because it hasn't moved. It hasn't changed anything. It's still the same as it was. Yeah, it's still the same as it was when it came back. The thing I like about YouTube is the discoverability, and it's in your hand. It's in your hands to make it better, and it works on SEO, and it works you know, and with Twitch, you have to build it on a different platform.
It's exclusive.
Right, okay.
It's
And they want you to be
exclusive, right?
exclusive, which is stupid.
Which is kind of like, okay, and I understand, like, if they're thinking of, like, fair enough, you're hosting me to stream. I can build my own website and host myself. I can build my own sub button on my own website and host myself. I can do it all myself. I don't necessarily, I just don't, and that's the thing. I have the SEO. I could just put myself up on Google. I can use Instagram and social medias and all that for the promotion. I don't need you, Twitch. The only thing that Twitch
I don't know that's true.
You know what I
Not
mean?
a lot
Like,
of people are, but not a lot of people are going to
that way. But I'm just saying, there's so many. I'm just saying, Twitch. You act like you're the only thing around here, but you're not. And I know, like, Mixer tried and Hitbox tried and Uplay tried and Gleamish tried, but YouTube is doing much better as an option right now for people. Kick, of all places, and I personally don't recommend anyone go to Kick in terms of your career or anything like that. But if you want to make your grind or money, it's none of my business, right? But they're already starting to put their foot down in making an impression, and it's not, it's not the impression I would make, but it's an impression. And that's the impact that's happening now. Because as soon as these lads are making a real impact with the real numbers and taking over those real influencers or those real creatives over to another platform, Twitch is going to start sweating and then start rolling back even more policies. Oh, by the way, we're going to give you more money, or we're going to incentivize this or incentivize that. You never know.
It's a strange platform at the moment. Like, and it's sad because when I streamed on Twitch, I loved it. It was just a nice, I love the interface.
You've probably changed your mind in the last few weeks, haven't you, really?
Yeah, but I like that, and I'd have the same point as you, think that never throw your eggs into the one basket. Like, I streamed on Facebook Gaming for some time, but I always had the Twitch channel, in the background. I was always building my YouTube channel anyway, doing my own content. And I understand that in the tech company, things change really, really quickly. And I said only 2 or 3 months ago, maybe less, that Twitch isn't going anywhere because, they were almost like a monopoly. But now when you kind of, I suppose, take back and look at the whole streaming
picture.
Yeah, we can take our asses anywhere else,
Yeah,
TikTok, YouTube, Kick.com, Instagram is out pushing gaming, Facebook gaming.
And then you have like lots of massive streamers, and including yourself as well, that are not confident with the future of the platform, and the decisions that they'll be making. So I think that's an interesting one. Guys, we have to move on to the last story before we hit on a very important topic and topic of the week. But we want to talk about the Nick Mercs controversy. I just want to have a disclaimer at the start. Regardless of what opinion we have on this, look, it's just opinions at the end of the day. Do they matter? Maybe, but I mean, everyone can have one, and whether we agree or disagree, maybe we come to the end of the conversation and we agree to disagree and all leave as friends. But I'm going to go through exactly what happened first, and then... So last week, Twitch and YouTube personality Nick Mercs, also known as FaZe Nick Mercs, is facing backlash after posting a tweet saying they should leave little children alone. That's the real issue. The video was in response to LGBT protesters getting violent with pro-LGBT demonstrators outside a school board meeting. This criticism quickly went viral, with the tweet now sitting at nearly 15 million views. Nick Mercs is a massive Call of Duty player. He was one of the first to get a Call of Duty skin put into the game. Activision have since removed that skin. Dr. Disrespect then, on stream, seen the news, uninstalled the game, because obviously the two guys are big friends. I think Tim the Tapman originally didn't want to comment on it, but since obviously seeing the support that he's been getting by a lot of his friends, Tim has actually come out to support Nick as well.
But he actually asked the skin to be taken off.
He did, yeah.
So they did that as well, in solidarity.
And another thing as well was the day after the tweet was posted, Nick came on to his stream, just continued to work, and came onto the stream and basically talked about, the tweet, what it meant. Basically the whole message that he wanted to give was he wants to be the one to speak to his child about any sensitive topic. it is important to note that he has recently become a father himself. One of the hardest jobs in the world. I always put my hands up there. I have 3 boys myself, and a very difficult job.
Heart goes out to you.
But one that's worth doing, one that you always want to.
One that's worth doing well, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
it is.
One of the hardest works you'll do.
This is a piece for me. Like I think Nick's response was one of the classiest responses I've seen, with the backlash that he must have got, the hate that he must have received, just by coming on and saying, look, I know a lot of people maybe took this message up the wrong way, but this is what I meant by it, and I'm not apologizing, I'm standing by it. So yeah, what is your opinion on this? Because I'll come in after.
It's crazy, right? And this is the reason why I don't even bring it up any kind of politics or anything like that is allowed my stream.
It's a tough one.
It causes divide, right?
It does.
Because everybody has an opinion, and all opinions are the same. And then there's passionate people out there, and there's some crazies.
I call them extremists
out there. And they can be and I hate to say it, it's all sides. They all have them. Crazies everywhere, right? You know what I mean? Not all the time, but it's everywhere. In this topic, I see it I have never seen it more. It's more of an American thing that I've seen in this. I haven't seen anything back at home in Ireland about this. Obviously, I don't deal with this here in the Netherlands because everyone's quite, the attitude is like, it's none of my business. It's none of my business. And that's it. And that's it.
Yeah.
None of my business. And because no one cares.
I think it's different though when
cares,
your kids are affected. Like, it does become your business then.
And for those guys out there, like, we're all parents. I'm a parent, Paddy's a parent, Ronan's a parent. So we can all understand Nick's absolute heartfelt understanding of it. It's his baby. Do you know what I mean? We all want to protect our babies in any aspect or whatever it may be, in that value of that person, right? I honest to God have no idea what's happening over in that neck of the woods, that these people are going to school boards and doing this. I have no idea why people are getting incredibly hatred violent on either sides of different things. I've seen some weirdos on both sides of it. Clearly you're making more of a horrible impact for your children doing this, by the way, going out and shouting and doing all this rage and all this stuff. I don't think it's very positive for your child, to be honest with you. I'm always having the conversation with my child. That is a conversation of whatever way my conversation is my business with my child. Yeah. That's the way it should be. And
but that was Nick's message. I think a lot of
fighting for.
I think a lot of the issue that I seen was, like, he wrote this one sentence, and then all of a sudden, like, there was this brigade of, Nick hates the LGBT community. Nick is,
exactly,
he's a masculine male that doesn't have an opinion. And it's just the same scripted carry on.
It's the knee-jerk kick emotional reaction. Like again, like text messages, or even text in general, like there's no emotional indications in them. So you're only making it in the way you're seeing it.
Like, have we reached the point where
like that as well, but
have we reached the point where we need to read it off a script, and anything that's not on that script is considered
indoctrination?
Well, what exactly are we going when it comes to writing a script? Is it not on to step on anyone's toes? How are we supposed to have communication?
Yeah,
if we can't talk to each other, that's
not allowed to talk to each other.
That is pathetic. If that is the case,
that's where we're at. I think that is where we're at, and I understand maybe Netherlands is a little bit more chilled out for certain reasons, but
that's the thing. Like, it's like nobody here gives a shit about your life. No one, it's none of their business. They have their own stuff going on. And I don't know why people are taking on so many things.
You can't start introducing things into schools and you've no control over what your children is learning. Like, it is time to stand up and talk.
I can understand that. Absolutely. Like, if there's some subjects or subject matter or whatever it may be that is getting taught in school, I would like to have an understanding of that myself. You know what I mean? There's schools.
Like, if I sent my child to school like that and they started teaching them things that I didn't agree with, it would be horrible.
Well, that's it as well. But that's the thing, is that why isn't the school communicating this, or what exactly that's being taught that's so horrible? You know what I mean? Some schools allow the Bible. They don't seem to kick up murder over that.
No, in a lot of schools in America, you can opt out of learn
We never
religion.
we never got to opt out of that, did we?
No, but we're a very
Yeah,
Catholic
we're Irish
country.
though.
Exactly,
Yeah, we're a
but
very
it's down.
Catholic country.
It's really down to the culture, and it's down to the parts.
But
of
that's the
culture
problem.
and all
Yeah, but I
that.
think
push
that's
back on
changed
that.
now. Like you don't,
But,
you know,
I
it's
don't
not shoved
think-
in your face anymore unless you go to a Catholic school, which it will be. But as a
Well,
parent,
that's-
you expect what's going to
I would
happen if you
hope-
send a child to a Catholic school. They're going to be
Yeah,
studying.
but like, what would
religion.
you like? Would you burst through the doors and start kicking up the teacher? Like, if you've heard something that shouldn't have been taught, or like, what kind of sacrilege? Like, what could be so damning bad that they could teach a child? Like, that's what I'm understanding. Like,
I
what
like-
levels? Yeah, but like, I'm trying to understand.
If it
I
is a
want to-
case that
I-
let's say
I
it's
want
let's
to
say the
underst-
whole
like, are they
Go and
teaching?
talk.
no.
Sorry,
Let's say
Jay.
let's say the whole subject of sexual education. It doesn't matter, you know, what part of sexual education. I think it is, you know, extremely young at the ages of 5 to maybe 9 years of age to teach that as part of the curriculum in school. I think again, something that I have done with my eldest son is I teach him at an age where I consider him being mature enough, because every child is different. I've got
Every
3 of
child's
them. You know,
Yep.
my middle child Logan, he's not as mature as what Nathan was when he was his age. I would consider what video games my kids can play due to my experience with them and what I feel
Yep.
like they can consume and not affect them
Yep.
in a negative way. And I think it's the exact same with when they're that young. It should be a parent's decision on. And look, parenting it's difficult. Like, and sometimes you get it wrong, sometimes you get it right. But I don't want anyone else doing what I should be doing in
And
you know,
having
the
the
timing that I think.
conversation.
Yeah, like, and I'll have the conversation, and I know there's the argument that, well, not all parents are like you, but I still think the responsibility should be left at the parent, regardless of, you know, taking a massive group of people and saying, well, not all parents are like that.
Yeah.
We need to deliver this in the school, or, you know, we're going to get to a stage where they don't know by the age of whatever it is, 18, 19,
Yeah.
and then there's hate in their heart or whatever it is. Like, I'm very
It's a bit
accepting
strange,
to like everyone, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Be yourself. I don't care. Like, and I know that's a stupid thing to say at this day and age. Like, I think everybody, you know, we're living in a world where a lot of people are very accepting to any sort of group. Like, but
Absolutely.
I just think that America's such a strange country.
It's a strange country.
But the
when it
problem with
comes to
America
that,
is it
Ronan.
usually drips over to Ireland, you know,
Yeah.
maybe a year after, and that's what I am worried. Like,
But that's the thing. Like, let's bring it back to sex education. I remember getting sex education twice in my lifetime from schools. One in elementary, for those in translation, or primary, and one in middle school, as in secondary school.
okay.
My age was I was 13, 14 when I got the conversations. I've already become a woman 2 years ago beforehand. I had never had a conversation, not even with my parents or anything like that with anyone else. So when it comes to like learning about one's body, I was too late.
But
I know
should
another- I
that be
knew
a
it-
government incentive to make sure that you know
But the
about
thing
that?
is that
Because I don't think it
but
should be.
The thing is back then it was always the notion of it's embarrassing to talk about these things. It's shameful and embarrassing. Even with some lads in that environment back then, and mind you, this is a long time ago. I won't tell you my age, but it was a long time ago. But it was always of the impression of like it was shameful. It was very, very secretive. Shouldn't talk about this. Like, it was always like that. It was always like that.
Yeah, no,
So,
I mean, it was the
again,
same growing
you're-
up. Like, I was
You're
pretty
a
good with.
parent.
Yeah,
My daughter took out my bag and she pulled out sanitary pads. You know what I mean? And she was like, "What's this?" And I was like, "It's for your underwear." And she's like, "Why?" It's like you'll know when you get older, but it's for your underwear when you get older into big girls. And I
yeah,
had
but
to
that's
build up that conversation.
you. Yeah, that's you building up the conversation. That's not her coming home from
But
school
it-
and saying, "Oh, we learned
exactly.
something today," and you're kind of thinking, "Well, that's kind of my job." It's like
But that's-
showing
that's-
your young lad how to shave.
But I
It's like,
never even had that with my parents at all. So that conversation, like a lot of people maybe had that relationship with your parents. I didn't have that relationship with my parents. I didn't even
No.
have that relationship with my older sister. So that my only way of understanding what was changing in my body was through the school, and I was 2 years too late. So that's
But
why
like
I
what
kind of
they're
like
teaching in schools now it's something different to that.
might
It's
be
not
something
really,
different, but like that was when I was becoming a woman education. They didn't dive, like I said, they barely dove into like pregnancy until like the
But like, if
following
my
year for
child
me.
came home, like
Anyone in the
personally,
chat has opinion on this, we'd love to hear it as well.
like
Yeah,
personally,
but
if
it
my
should be
child
yours.
came home and says, "I've decided the teacher taught us about gender today, and I'm a they, she, him, they," I'd be like, "What?"
But you do not get signed off. Like we had papers and stuff to sign off. Like we weren't like pulled into classes and like
No, I'm not saying about
indoctrinated
that.
into like
But I'm saying
anal
that's what
sex.
that's what they're on about teaching in America is gender
make-
and all that stuff.
That doesn't make any sense to me. Why don't they just talk about biology and everything else
Exactly.
between it? You know what
Exactly.
I mean? Like, and
Yeah,
at the end of the
that's
day,
true.
like it's
That's
not.
what Nick Mercs is on about.
But that's the thing. At the end of the day, like I had conversations plenty of times with people. When it comes to like, and this is my 2 cents, okay? When it comes to gender conversation or sex, a lot of people have this mindset of like there's only like one or the other. I've come across where I've met people who are intersex, and then them finding out that they were told they were one way when actually mostly they were the other way, and they've had spouts of depression and spouts of anxiety and spouts of shame all throughout their life because they didn't know who they were. You know what I mean?
Fair.
No,
Yeah.
it's like, don't get me wrong, there is definitely cases
there is
like
people
that
there.
that's horrendous.
There's
Like,
definitely-
and they've incredible lives right now once they have today's medical advances and everything like that. But for a particular person back then, they did not understand this back in the 50s. So like
No,
I can't
definitely.
like
We barely
like
understand it today.
even the schools weren't even prepared for it. But we are prepared for conversations like this, and I really do think let's just have the conversation of getting the information to the parents. You know what I mean? Sign off a form.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
even
Now,
a little
not-
pack that you send out to
That's
parents.
That's actually
even a pack-
biology, though. That I wouldn't mind that.
But-
That's
but that's-
proper biology.
that's-
That's
yeah,
proper thing. That's
but
a
if-
real fact.
But then if it's nitpicking over there, and that's why I get really kind of confused with it. I don't understand why you're arguing about biology. Like it's part of science. Don't you want an education? So it's kind of
But
weird.
that's not what he's
but it-
arguing about.
But like I
Uh,
don't know.
It's not the
Luke
biology.
says my 11-year-old got sex education last week. Thought it was too young. They also introduced the idea of gender identity. I don't think she needed to hear it
Never
at
had
that
that.
age. Everyone is different, but yeah.
Luke, did you get any kind of a pack or any kind of information or anything like that? Because that's the main thing I want
But
to
that's
know.
why
Is
that's
that
scary. Like I just don't. I think it's very scary. You don't have any control of what your children are learning.
But see, I have the benefit. My my baby daddy is a teacher in her school, so I kind of have I have eyes in the inside.
There's another thing
so-
that I kind of wanted to bring it back to, like with the gaming wise. It's the fact that they Call of Duty just ripped Nick Mercs' skin right off the game because
Yeah.
of that one
I
text.
That's a
I
great
had
point.
no
that's,
idea.
Like if we bring it back to that,
So Activision are a
do you think
company
it's
that
okay?
have
Like,
no, I don't think it's okay that corporates are trying to be the good guys by thinking that
Yeah.
they're appealing to some whatever it is minority group. So Activision are a company that have been paying off victims of sexual assault for the last 10 years. In 2022 they paid out 18 million in compensation. Another thing that I wanted to add is Call of Duty chat is one of the worst, most toxic environments you can ever experience in gaming.
and that's a fact.
And why don't they go and actually, honestly, one of the reasons why I stopped playing Call of Duty, it is toxic beyond belief. Like I've been called stuff in that I've never heard, that I've
Well,
never been called before in my life.
Never used the chat.
But yeah,
we'll love you on Battlefield. Come to Battlefield.
yeah, well, Battlefield
sucks.
is a much better game anyway. Up the dice.
What's
So
the
like
dice?
they pretend that they care, and that's the problem with the corporate companies that are promoting whatever it is, Pride Month. I'm all for it.
bandwagon.
Like I'll go to the Pride Parade. I'm all for it. But when a corporate company comes in and pretends to care, it is so damaging to the community. Trying to destroy a streamer's career basically from a single sentence that has been misunderstood, to be quite honest with you, as far as I go. Like Nick Mercs, I've been watching him for a long time. I know Paddy has too. The guy is a
been
good
around
guy. I
years.
mean, if Nick
He's a
Mercs is the
genuine good
bad,
guy.
if
He's a
Nick
genuine
Mercs is
good
the
guy.
bad guy in this world, we are screwed, and that is the God's honest truth. Go and have a look at him. Go and into his stream. He is the most interactive, nicest person you've ever met. He's just become a father. He's looking after his kid. If he's the bad
He's
guy
about
in
the
this
same
world,
age
we
as
are
us.
we are screwed.
But
Yeah,
that's
he's about the same age as us.
Yeah, that's it. And corporations are like doing this, like they just knee-jerk reactions. This is what I'm talking about. Like corporations truly don't give a shit about you, even if you're in staff at the
They
level.
don't care.
You're expendable. You're a number. You're nothing. Like this is a skin that they probably made they had no problem making money off those skins.
Yeah.
No.
Are they going to refund those players?
No,
Well, if they've lost Dr. Disrespect now, who's one of their biggest streamers, they've also, you know, Tim the Tapman wants his skin taken off. Like, I can see Activision stocks not doing so well this week because they're after peeing off a lot of the community. But like what I said in terms of the Call of Duty chat, start looking at your own game and your own environment before you start, you know, trying to be a justice warrior to the world, because nobody is buying your crap. Like, it is a scummy company, Activision, and like we've reported on so many different incidents coming from that company in the last couple of years, and you know, it annoys me.
I think it's horrible.
It annoys me
because Nick Mercs is around the same age as us, but he's been a professional COD player since the age of about 14. So he's been playing Call of Duty all that time. He's been streaming it all that time. He's gone to their events. He's done everything for them. And one tweet and it barely even anything gone.
Yeah, no,
that shows you how much they care. That
shows you how fragile the world is if you can't even
shameful.
give your.
We cannot be associated with this tweet. Back off.
Like, it's a bit of a, like I said, like, some of these skins get taken out. Are they going to refund any of those players who bought the skins?
No, I think if you have the skin, I don't think they refund them.
No, exactly, and that's what I'm asking. Like, if that is the case, that they're going to cancel the skins, even Tim the Tab, and that's on his you know, leisure to follow as well. Of course, his skin is gone. But at the end of the day, those skins got paid for by consumers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I know, like, Activision's same face and sounds look great and everything, but are they going to refund all of those players that actually bought those skins?
Can I just say it in the chat as well, because there is...
not, then that just says it all. You know how easy it is to keep throwing away tangible items. You know what I mean?
There is quite a one-sided where we're kind of backing. If there's anyone in the chat that kind of thinks the other way, that disagrees with us, please don't be afraid to say it. Like, we're really open to any opinion.
They just don't subscribe and leave.
Yeah. Well, you can do that if you want, but I think it's better to have the conversation, and that's why I said at the start that
that's a big problem is with this world at the minute. You can't talk about it.
We may have people in the chat that are saying, "Oh, sure, you don't have a clue. You're not in that position," or you. But I think
let's talk about
it's important to have a conversation, whether you're, you know, for Nick Mercs or against what he said. Like, it's okay to have the chat. Like, and if you went and actually looked at Nick Mercks's statement after, you might realize, instead of just taking that one focused point that's after being blown up all over the internet, and it's like, oh, sure, he's another, what's the term, white cis male, what opinion does he have that matters? Like, he's hatred towards the LGBT community, which he doesn't. Like, it's clear that the evidence of how much he's supported that community in the past couple of years since he was streaming has been very clear. But for one little, you know, snapshot of what he did,
we take it out of context completely.
Yeah, you can totally take it out. You can take a lot of things out of context. Even stuff that might seem obvious and you do your research still can be taken out of context. So it's good to have a mind that you can go and maybe do a little bit of research before you let hate fill up your heart, and try and actually
bring positivity back to the world.
Yeah, like, there has to be...
Where's the love gone in the world, mama?
But then, like, this is the attitude of some people. Like, if you want us and everyone else to kind of meet everyone else halfway, you're going to have a conversation, babe. You can't just be like, well, I'm going to hate him forever, even though this person wants to have a conversation about
100%.
it, wants to communicate, wants to learn. You're going to instantly be that bitch and shut it down. Are you serious?
I would have great respect for these people. Like,
after waiting and shouting and wanting a conversation for a long time, you're going to be the bigger person and not have the conversation. Like, this is terrible. Like, that is not the best idea. We're not gotten anywhere close enough to where you want to be, or us, or any of that. Like, it's kind of, that's where my mindset is with some of this. People will go out and they have no problem being hate, no problem throwing around the hate, even though, like, this is a just cause. This one, it doesn't matter what group of session, whatever it is, right? They'll go out and they will just fire out some hate.
Whatever's trending at the time.
Hashtag not everyone, right? But once someone's like, okay, well, I'm willing to have a conversation and they're calm about it, you're still upset. What? Yep. Like, what? Like, make it make sense. Is it a case that you're insecure, you don't want to be proven wrong? get that
Just some people are
insecurity.
very are not open-minded at
It's
all.
just, it's the whole reading off a script thing. I find like there's a lot of people out there
I'm not reading
that...
off a script.
No, not you. I know you're not, and that's why we can actually have this conversation. But there's other people that we wouldn't actually be able to have this conversation with. Like, I know people on a daily basis that you can't have that conversation because they're so set in, what they think is right and what they think is wrong when...
Yeah.
And then you meet them a year later and they've totally changed their opinion on it. Where if we had just had the conversation there and then, we could have, maybe disagreed. But who the hell cares? Like, I mean, my opinion changes from hour to hour, day to day. Like, I play a video game 1 minute, I don't like it, and then I play it again a year later, and I love it. It's just the way humans are. I think we have to be a little
baby.
bit... Yeah, updates. Yeah.
Tarkov, what a hell of a game.
Updates,
I'm
baby.
looking at you, No Man's Sky. But it's actually nice. I know we're on a kind of a public platform now, but it is nice to have the conversation and to show other people out there that we can talk about stuff like this, and it doesn't have to end in warfare.
Years.
Yeah, like it's only like what energy do you want to put out there is what energy you're going to get back in. I know it sounds very like whatever, but like I'm telling you now, whatever energy you're throwing out there, if you're putting out hate on the social medias and all of a sudden you're getting hate back, like that's what this is the give and take. So if we're throwing out more positivity, you're trying to throw out more communication, you're trying to break those, those hatred chains and trying to make those proper strong links with people. It starts with ourselves. Like I had a lot of time where I had to really swallow my pride and be like, fuck, I was wrong. Sorry for swearing. There you go. But you
said it really low. I don't think it came true.
So, but I think it is super important that if we don't sit down and have a chat, like it's, this only matters in this moment, in this space, right then and there. This is only temporary, like we're going to be dead in the next couple of decades. You realize this? Like, where do you want to spend your energy?
That's it. Like,
where do you want to spend your energy and time? Like, I have a 12-year-old that asked me, when is it okay she could taste wine? Like, I have my own struggles right now, people.
What age is she?
She's 12. So I'm sitting there going like, coming from a different, different culture background, being Irish, my daughter's Swedish. I'm like, I was well 21.
I know, yeah.
Like I even won when I had like a bottle of Guinness in my bottle. But anyway,
that's the problem with the country, wasn't it?
It was a culture. It was it was the 80s. It was different. But like that's where we're at now. Like, and I personally, like, I love people when they're positive. I do not have time for hatred. But if you want to figure out how to get away from hate, I'd love to have a conversation with you. I'd love to sit down and see what it is that you
Luke
need, different perspectives. So
live and let live, and I pinned it, and that's the truth of it. But that has to work both sides. That has to work both sides.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, this is my attitude. Are you going to invite these people to your wedding? Are they going to be there at your christening? Are they going to show up when you need moving? No. So why the hell do you care about them? Like, why? Like, so. why is your business so about their business? Get out of there. Get a little bit selfish. Worry about yourself for a change. Well, like, what are you doing? So live and let live.
The world is your oyster.
Love people. Everybody love everybody.
Yeah. So speaking, we're not going to spend too long, even though it's a really important topic. But I do want to touch on it. Sure. First of all, it's Pride Month. Happy Pride Month, everyone. Hopefully you're have some fun this month. As well as Pride, it is Men's Mental Health Month as well. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Paddy, you have a community set up. Do you want to tell?
Yeah, I set up. It was like there was a prompt on Facebook that you could set up a give and get support group, and I thought there's that many members in the Republic Players. Like there's only 3,000.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, like, obviously we all go through our own struggles, day to day, men, women, everyone. So like I thought we'd make a new channel up. That we have chats already, but I thought I'd make a new channel up in case anybody is looking for a little bit of support or needs to talk or just needs to vent. And I think it's important to get these out because some people don't have people. Some people are alone. Some people spend the weekend and they get down. We all get down. We all have our different days. I suffer with depression myself, anxiety, and I've had my own troubles in the past. And it's good to have, if you ever want to come and chat in that group. If you ever want a private message, go for it. You want a private message me, Ronan, think. If you just need an ear, please do reach out because there's nothing more important than getting through the day, getting through the week and helping yourself progress. And I just think it's very, very important. And I set it up and it seems to be there's a few people like sharing stories and talking about what they're going through, their own personal struggles right now, obviously. And I think it's a great idea. Like Facebook prompted me to do it, and I think it's an amazing idea. So I went and I done it.
Right.
Can you link that? Is that linked there?
Yeah, I linked
Paddy?
it there a minute ago. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So definitely
link it
jump
again.
in. Like we're all human. We all go through our good times and bad times. I suppose the amazing thing about having good times is they're going to pass, and it's the exact same with the bad times as well.
Bad times.
You know,
100%.
they're no matter how low you feel, and like Paddy, and I'm sure Tink as well, I've gone through some really crappy times in my life. Only recently, I like I was telling Paddy again, you know, somebody that I can talk to, just changed job, was working like you would not believe, wasn't gaming, wasn't, you know, looking at a screen, because I'd been sitting looking at a screen all day with the new job, trying to get everything kind of sorted. It's just something that I do, is I become kind of obsessed with a project that I have, and it was really affecting me. And I talked to Paddy, and you know, we hashed it out, and we're back. So it is a case that, look, everything does pass. If you feel crap tomorrow morning, just don't let it
Sometimes
take
it's
over.
good to get it out of your head.
It is good, yeah.
Good to get out of your head.
Sometimes you feel like you're the only one, like, and you're definitely not. Like, everybody goes through it. Like, there is nobody out there that is not getting away from this feeling of feeling down, or you know, depression or anxiety. Yeah. And like Paddy, like I used to have social anxiety, but gladly I don't have it anymore. Like, but it used to be quite overpowering, let us say. So yeah, it's
I have it myself.
Yeah.
But like another thing as well, I find some people think that their depression and stuff, it's stupid or it's silly. Why do I feel like this? And I'd like to say, like, their feelings are valid, and don't be afraid to express yourself, because it's not stupid, it's not silly, it's the way you feel. So if you feel like that, it's valid, and don't be thinking that it's not. Like that's a big message that I'd like to get across, because it's very important. Like, and it's very, very important.
There's different techniques that people use to get out of that rut. Like, for me, it was exercise was the big one for me, because I felt like if I tired myself out, I felt like I achieved something. But that's not going to work for everybody. Sometimes it might be, you know, pick up a book and read, go for a walk, you know, go on a holiday, try and get your head away from the difficulties that you have in life. There is no one set way of getting through it. Like, it's just, you have to try and keep working towards figuring out what works for you. And, you know, that's what you need to do. And keep working, keep trying to get through it, because it will happen where one day you'll wake up and it's like, that's, you know, that's my past, and now I can talk about it. And do you remember back then I was in a really crappy place, and now I'm, you know, I'm doing better than ever, and I've learned, but not only learned, I've grown stronger because I got through those hard times. I know for me anyway, I've definitely grown a lot more mentally stronger since I got through some horrendous times. So definitely keep pushing, keep learning, keep trying to figure yourself out, and keep trying different techniques. There's so many different things that you can do. I'd always recommend as well going to somebody to talk to on a professional level. That helped me through a lot of hard times as well. But again, the technique that worked for me mightn't work for you, so just try them all until you find something.
That'll suit you.
Keep fighting.
At the end of the day, and a lot of lads said a lot of the things that I would say as well. We're going to tell you something. If you need to cry, right? Because I know some lads out there like, I'm not going to cry or whatever. Listen, I know that you're a deadly buzz of a man, and I still think you're absolutely manly as hell, right? But I'm going to tell you this right now, lads, you're all right to cry. It's okay to cry. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing is changing in terms of yourself. It's a form of expression. It's just these chemicals
Sometimes
have to be released. You have to release these chemicals. So if you are this kind of lad that I can barely cry or whatever, I can't cry or whatever, you have to release this. So what I recommend you do is there's wonderful coming home little videos, like, you know, daddy comes home from military to surprise kids, or like guy finds his dog or whatever. Some emotional movement.
Armageddon.
Take 10 minutes. Take 10 minutes. Just get those emotions out. Okay, because you're going to feel better. And it's not like women do this. We are very easy for doing it. Like, I could just call up, he'll just be like, I need to go cry. You come, it's like, yeah, it's no problem. We can just, no problem. But I find it very, like, for me, this is my own 2 cents. I find it very serious when I see a man cry. I think it's very serious. I think it is very real and very, very, very serious. I don't see anything else but that. Like, for me, this is my opinion again, girls, I could trip over a flare. I'd be like, it's gone, like gone. But like when I see a lad that's struggling,
Yeah.
okay, I know it's serious. Even if you're a girl, even whatever you're going through, if it's real to you, I have to respect that. And that should be the same air around everyone else, okay? But you're
Yeah.
not alone. We have the channels. I have it in me Gilded. You want to go to Gilded? You want to go to head over to our own community place? You want to drop a comment in the chat and say, hey, is there any places where I could touch bases out of these places? You have options. You're not alone. And I guarantee you this, you're definitely not alone. I come across some content creators
100%.
who are in a similar position. I come across community members who have been in a similar position. But I can tell you this, 100%, babe, you are not alone, okay? And if anyone tells you otherwise, you contact me. I'll find them at the slides. Sorry.
Another thing as well, because it's easy to say, you know, come and talk. Just be clear on you're feeling crappy and, you know, you just need somebody to have a chat with. Because like, and I've done it myself, sometimes that if you hold so much, you know, let me say hatred or depression in your heart, it can really kind of be extended in your character. And a lot of times that when people are angry or people are upset or they're taking out on you, they're going through their own crap. Like, so just try and figure that out and just say, look, I'm going through a bad time. That's the reason why I called you fucking idiot the other day, or that's the reason why I did this or did that, and just be honest. Like, and I know not everybody in the world is going to, you know, open the door for you, but I will say that
I know
Paddy, Ronan, the Republic of Players, the door is always open. I think it's one
Even
of the most inclusive.
Even if you want somebody to have a game with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That can help.
We need a four member of our ready or not squad.
Because I refuse to play.
I think you'd like it.
It's a great game.
Yeah, it is a great game.
You look very stealthy.
Dropping more knowledge. If Tyson Fury, the heavyweight champ of the world, can get it, everyone is vulnerable. Yeah. Very tough for sure, but there's good people out. It's true. Doesn't matter what size you are.
He's a great advocate for mental health as well.
He went through it all and he came back and won the heavyweight world championships. And like that shows you that's a good story. It's who you are today is not necessarily who you will be tomorrow, and how you feel today is not necessarily how you feel tomorrow. It's all about progression and learning how to get better and learning what makes you feel better. You know, like that's getting through today is a big deal. And men, I said in men especially like that, they don't talk. We have very high suicide rates. I think we've all been affected by suicide at some stage. I think anyway. And like it's a very hard thing to go through, and it's very hard to think what these people will be up to today, and it's hard to think, you know, what way things would have went. Like, and people someone was like, they're finding it very hard that someone committed suicide recently or something like that. Like I went through it myself. When someone committed suicide, I was very, very down, very, 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 very down, and it's horrible. But you have to try and get through it. You have to talk about it. You have to try and deal with it eventually.
Because people out there do love you.
Yeah.
100%.
You may not believe
everyone. Somebody always loves somebody. Somebody
always
truth.
loves you, and like it doesn't have to be like companionship. There's someone. I guarantee you, there is so many people out there that if I lost, I would be devastated, and they probably don't even think that much of themselves because I have to scream at them. They're amazing. I get like that too. I often do. Like, I'm so alone, nobody cares. But I know for a fact if I passed away, at least I know I had someone that actually cared that would show up. I know that. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't want anyone to feel like they're in a position. We've all been in that position in some part of our. I was in a horrible position 3 years back. Like it was. I would never want that feeling for you, and you shouldn't be on your own with that feeling, right? And that's how I feel about it. So you're not on your own. Just reach out. That's all we need you to do is take the first step. No one's going to shame you. No one's going to
100%.
judge you. There's no judgment here, right? I don't give a shite of any insecurities around it. I don't care. I really don't care. I just need you to be happy and alive and well. And that's the goal.
I would really hope no one would ever be that evil in messages.
You know what I mean?
If someone, I'd hate that. Imagine that. That would be horrible.
That'd be horrible. But like, that's what I'm trying to get across to you is like, I don't want you to be hesitant when we're introducing this to you. We don't judge you. We know things are hard and real. We'll never fully understand your struggle. We do want you around. We do want you to be happy. Do you understand? And that's what we're looking for you, and that's what we're offering. So please, just
I think the way the Republic was set up, like when me and Ronan set it up a few years ago, it was always set up to be a very positive environment. It was like, no, we didn't take any of the normal bullshit that goes on in gaming communities. Like you put up a post and you ask for help and they go, get good, dude, you know, you're shit. You've this. Like that's so immature and all that. We stamped all of it out. And it's a very positive environment.
It is.
People are always bringing each other up. It's like a little community. Like it's a good community. Like there's always, you always recognize the names. Yeah. People, you always, and see what they're up to, see what platinum people are getting, what games coming out,
what collections they have.
Yeah, exact collections they have.
Yeah.
And it's always
shout out
very
Platinum Jack. He's still there, rocking away the and also a community member of the year, Derek Smith, as well.
Yeah.
That guy is just
he's like a little celebrity in our
I think we should bring him on the podcast, honestly, if we can get him.
That's interviewing the famous.
He is just a legend.
He's actually, everyone loves his post. Everyone loves. He's like a little celebrity. He honestly is.
It's gas.
Legend. We'll definitely try and get him on. Shout out to
now, the
Derek
link is
Smith.
It's in the description and it's in the chat there if you want to join. Again.
Yeah.
You're welcome to. Everyone is.
Please do. Yeah.
Awesome. Guys, we leave it there. That has been an unbelievable show. Lots of great conversation, to be honest. And we're able to actually, leave the end of the podcast still all friends. Maybe our opinions are different, the same, but we can have a conversation about it. And I think that's the message that we're trying to put across here is we don't know everything and nobody does, but we're trying to learn every day. We're trying to learn from each other. But the only way that we can do that is by having these conversations like this. And in terms of the Men's Mental Health Month as well, it is all about having the talk at the end of the day. So it's quite important. So let's keep it positive. Let's throw it over to Paddy. Where can the good folks find you?
Okay. TikTok.
Oh my God, you're throwing out the TikTok.
Please follow. I'm trying to get to 1,000.
I think it's
followers.
so funny that you're promoting TikTok now.
Sure, why not?
You're dead right.
I'm a bandwagoner.
You're late on the bandwagon. I was there years ago.
I was like, shouldn't we have a TikTok, Paddy? And he was like, I'm like,
I don't know about that. I think Rowan convinced me. Anyway.
It's only for the kids.
It's for the kids. Yeah, it's for the kids. No, TikTok is actually, it's very good for getting your projects out there, getting your face seen across there. There's a lot of Irish members, a lot of people joining our Irish members, and we're actually putting up clips now from the podcast. So give us some love and join anything you see the Republic of Players on. Please we're trying to hit 1,000 subs on YouTube. We're working very hard on that and trying to hit 1,000 on TikTok. TikTok's going to be faster because we're on like 600 already.
Unless you want to prove them wrong, YouTube, and get all those subscribers. I'm just saying, like, who's the better community, the TikTok or the YouTube? I think the YouTube is.
Well, YouTube's actually full of like Americans, I think.
I know see you
all
streaming.
The American lads would. You will see me streaming on Twitch.tv because until it blows up and goes away. I don't know where else to go. Actually, no, beyond the old TikTok as well, actually, and shorts. So
can't wait for the 40-60 split.
Oh, can't wait. But anywhere you can throw in me handle, really, and that's where you find me. But I'm full time on Twitch live stream. So if you want to drop in, especially for the Americans, I'll be your morning streamer. Yeah, that's where you can get me.
Well, you roll.
Yeah, on the priority list, guys, Republic of Players, just go on to your subscribe button right now, smash that thing. We're trying to get to subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000. We're putting an awful lot of effort into content creation lately. Myself and Paddy are, up all night trying to figure out how we can crack the code, and with the support of Think there, I'm sure that we're gonna do it. Like it's we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, so we're getting there. Thank you so much to the community for the chat, just for coming in, for adding to the show. Without you, we'd be literally talking amongst ourselves. Like, this is what we usually do anyway, but it's nice to have the community join us. I do have a YouTube channel that I've nearly hit partner with, the Alpha Fox. Please go over there and hit subscribe. And if you could, just watch a movie on repeat, watch a video on repeat so I can get those watch time.
Watch time up, yeah.
Just watch an hour long one of the content, piece of content that I have. And
watch the old podcast, the Alpha Zone.
Yeah, watch the podcast. Thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you in next week, same time, same place. And yeah, talk to you then, guys.